Guys, in this training video, I'm going to be going through how to stop losing control at night. Okay, how to stop this late night binging. And it comes from what we do earlier in the day. If we fix the day, the night will look after itself. So the problem is, it's not that you lack control, you're underfed. You're in a calorie deficit. You eat light all day. You know, maybe you have a coffee for your breakfast, maybe one piece of toast, maybe a sandwich for lunchtime, just to get you through the afternoon. Then dinner time, you'll have a decent-ish dinner, but then it's not enough. Like over the course of the day, you might have had, 70 grams of protein, 60 grams of protein for the day, if that, if you're lucky. So satiety hasn't been looked after at all. And then you want to binge at night. You want to snack, and it's the hyper caloric choices that you make in the evening that kills you. That's what kills your progress. It's not what you have in your main meals. Everybody thinks the solution is to make your main meal smaller. It couldn't be further from the truth. Honestly, I haven't met anyone so far who I've coached who the problem is their main meals are just generally too bigger. It's all the other shit that they have on the side because they're not quite satisfied. So this is what it looks like. A coffee for breakfast, maybe a sandwich to get you through lunch. You just kind of push through the afternoon, maybe like have something healthy like a handful of nuts, not realising that you could quite easily inhale 400 or 500 calories of nuts without batting an eyelid. Sit down. Now, what do you want to snack on? You don't want to snack on a steak or broccoli. You want to snack on something sweet, something salty. It's going to be chocolate, it's going to be crisps, it's going to be lollies, it's going to be things like that. And oftentimes those foods cause the subsequent decisions to be even worse. And that's the problem. That's the issue that you're dealing with, that these snacky foods don't do anything for satiety. So you don't really get an inclination that, right, I've kind of had enough, until you've like well and truly kicked the arse out of it. And they're, if anything, they continue the spiral because they're a very moreish type snack, for lack of a better term. Okay, so the first thing we need to look at, making our main meals bigger. That's the first thing we look at. How big can we make those main meals to just stop snacking altogether? So we're looking at least 30 to 40 grams of protein. Okay, looking at proper carbohydrate sources to get in there, potatoes, rice, pumpkin, veg, whatever it may be. Again, if we want volume, like this meal here, this is just like a coleslaw mix from the markets, and then I've added some high protein cottage cheese into that there as well, the low fat stuff. A huge amount of volume. Pumpkin is so calorically cheap, for lack of a better term. And then, just some chips that I've made in the air fryer, and then some salmon, easy peasy. And, this would be a 500 calorie meal, quite easily. But look at the volume of it, you know what I mean? Like, if there is never a amount of veggies or salad or things like things on this side of the plate, there's never an upper end of that realistically. If in doubt, we make this bigger, make this bigger, make this bigger, or even crank the protein up until we feel like we're satisfied. Okay, so that's the things that we look at. And is the calories that you're trying to have, the calories that you're trying to adhere to, is it actually enough to facilitate what you're looking to do? Now, I'm a big proponent of eat more and move more. So I want to see what's the upper end of how much someone is willing to move, do zone 2 cardio or things like that. There's a much more efficient way to exercise or to get steps rather than doing steps, like calorie for calorie or calorie per unit of time. It's much more efficient. So I want to find what's the upper limit there, and then what does that look like from just under a maintenance perspective. Okay, then that gives us a decent rate of progress. Now, to accelerate that, we're going to need to take a little bit away from food. I would rather drive output high and then food a little bit. It's going to be easier to adhere to anyway, and you get some other improvements that you wouldn't get just by purely going after food. So that's just always what's worked for me. So the goal was never to what's a a low calorie, high protein snack that's going to keep me filling but isn't going to be too, like, there isn't one. Do you know what I mean? Like, the goal isn't to find something like, oh, just sit and eat a bag of air, like that. You're not going to get that. You're going to have to make those main meals bigger. That is the true solution. So when we're looking at snacking and we're asking out, oh, what's a decent high protein snack here? What's a decent high protein snack here? Like, the high protein thing is, when you have a meal, like if I was trying to increase my protein intake, I'd be looking at this, all the chicken, and then I'd be like, right, I need to have more chicken in order to make that, to increase my protein intake. Like, I wouldn't be then looking for a high protein snack after the fact. Like, I've got something here that already does that job, and then if I'm trying to go after satiety, I'm trying to make this stuff here bigger. So more greens, more veg, building things up there, getting more fibre into the diet there as well. So again, making sure that we're fueling ourselves properly, because what happens is people butcher their calories, and then it comes to the weekend and they're just like the shackles come off and it's a total binge because it's been a huge restriction all week. Like, that's a binge purge cycle. That's not a healthy relationship with food or exercise, and definitely not something that we're looking to promote. We'd rather something achievable, something doable that moves us in the right direction. Okay, so over the next 7 days, if this is something that you struggle with, just focus on these three things. Hit your protein target first and foremost. Make sure you're fueling yourself with proper carbohydrates. You're eating up to the caloric set point that you have, and making sure that you're getting plenty of volume, plenty of fibre, plenty of veggies, micronutrients in your diet as well. If your snacking tendencies don't fall off a cliff with this strategy, I'd be very, very surprised. The second thing we need to look at is environment. If there's a food in your house that you cannot have in a controlled manner, meaning it causes you to binge and overconsume and you can't stop yourself, whether you like it or not, that food doesn't belong in your house. Not at this moment in time anyway. We can sit and try and work on, I should be able to control myself, I should be able to do better. And by the way, I'm guilty of this as well. So, like, normal chocolate doesn't live in my house, because if I get started on it, I'm like a man possessed. And maybe I should know better. Maybe I should be able to do better because this is my job. But at the end of the day, I can't, so I just don't have it in the house. Very simple. I have dark chocolate, which is something I can have in moderation, and it doesn't cause me those types of issues. So relying on willpower when you're exhausted, when you've had a high stress situation with the kids or whatever it may be, it's not going to work. Like, it's a recipe for disaster. Again, if we've got something, like, instead of it being like a taboo thing, like, if you like something after dinner, then let's plan something in. Let's actually structure something in. So a protein yogurt, a protein yogurt and some frozen fruit, for example, or else like this casein custard with the blueberries. I know I talk about this quite a lot. It's measured, it's structured, it's planned every night. It's part of the diet. It's part of the structure that you have. There's no taboo nature around it. Sometimes that like, this is a little bit naughty or something, like, creates another dynamic as well. Like, just if you want to have something, that's fine, but let's just plan it in and be deliberate about it and make sure that that's included as part of our daily allowance for calories, meaning we budget 150 calories, 200 calories somewhere else in the day. So in short, we need to fix the day, make our meals bigger, make sure we're hitting our protein target, that's of primary importance, remove trigger foods from your environment, or if you're one of these people who like something in the evening, just plan it. Plan it in, have it without any guilt, without any negative associations. It's just part of what you do, something you like to have after your dinner. It's planned, it happens, you execute it, and it feels like you have control over it. It changes the kind of psychology behind it, rather than it being a kind of taboo type thing there as well, okay?